Hi everyone. My name is Faustine. We are going to start the webinar now. First of all, before starting everything, I just want to make sure that you can hear us and see us perfectly. So if you can just use the chat, just like Ali Azhar from Pakistan did, just to say hi, so I know that everything is working well. So don't hesitate to use it. Yes, I see that it's working. Perfect. Welcome everyone to this webinar. So today we are going to talk about our engineering program and especially about ESIEE Paris, which is the school we represent at a school in France. Jean-Luc Pouleux is here with us. He is the director of the international relations of ESIEE Paris, and you will be able to ask him any question, whether you are a candidate yet or not. So first of all, let me introduce myself. So for those of you who don't know me yet, I am Faustine. I work at Join a School in France, and I know a lot of you receive my emails every week. So finally, you can put a face on it, and I'll be here today just to present you our mission at Join a School in France and the process. So we can have a look at the agenda. After I present to Join a School in France, we will do a short introduction of ESIEE Paris. Then Jean-Luc will tell us a bit more about the programs at ESIEE Paris, and we'll be able to see what kind of career you can have after graduation. So what are the job opportunities? And after that, I will tell you about the requirements you need to apply with Join a School in France. I'll tell you about the process, the selection process, so what are the steps when you apply, and finally, what are the benefits of applying with Join a School in France, and also why you should come to France to study. So Jean-Luc will tell us his point of view on that. And finally, you will have the opportunity to ask your question, or you can even use the chat now, and we'll take this time at the end to answer all your questions. So, in France, for those of you who didn't hear about us yet, we are an organization, a service exact from the Chamber of Commerce of Paris. So we are directly connected to companies and industries in France and abroad. And our mission is to recruit international students all over the world for different schools in France. So today we are going about ESIEE Paris, the engineering school we represent, but we also work with business school, fashion school, and school that we call the schools of excellence, that are school with where you can learn a special skills very close to the French culture, such as gastronomy or cosmetics or fashion. So if you want more details about those other programs that we are not going to discuss today, you can either go to our website, joinasschoolinfrance.com, or to email me. You will have all of those information at the end of the presentation. So maybe now Jean-Luc can tell us more about ESIEE Paris and introduce himself. So welcome, Jean-Luc.
Hi, Faustine. Thanks for the introduction and letting me talk about ESIEE Paris. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to talk about our school, which is a graduate school of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Paris, which is CCI. I will broach some few topics about the school, but let's start actually first to tell what is ESIEE Paris. It's an old school actually in France because it was created in 1904, so it's today more than 110 years old, and we have 2,000 students. So compared to an international background, actually, it's interesting to note that the French system is quite different. And finally, institutions are much smaller, and much smaller than a large university that you find abroad, but with a very good actually focus on students in terms of topics. So today we have 2,000 students and more than 250 international students. It's a diploma which is recognized by CTI. That means that it is recognized by the Ministry of Higher Education from its commission, which is specifically dedicated to what is a French title, Diplôme d'ingénieur, which is a master degree of very high level compared to other master level. I will have just one point there. What is diplôme d'ingénieur? Everybody, I think, knows about Gustave Eiffel with the Eiffel Tower, which is an example of what is an engineer, a French engineer, in the wording of French engineer, someone who is finally a scientist, which developed actually technology to put in the real field, and very innovative technology. When you think about the Eiffel Tower, how it was innovative at this time, and that was made by one engineer. So the French diplôme d'ingénieur is quite famous for that and has a specific commission here to validate it. We have also other master program, and let's say that what is important to know, we have tuition fees provided to students, which are, I would say, affordable. Still, they are high, I guess, but they are still affordable compared to the competition that we have, because we are partly subsidized by the government, and the program is 8,100 euro per year.
Which is, yes,
Faustine, one point you may like is
yeah.
also the place of women in ESIEE Paris, because that's something we promote. Here, definitely, engineering, science, technologies, and mathematics, which are the STEM field, have a deficit probably in attractivity to women, and that's a point that we work on quite heavily. We multiply by 3 in 10 years the number of women in our school. And I'm happy to see that international students are really contributing to that the fraction of women coming from abroad is growing up. So I hope you will enjoy also this strategy, which is providing brilliant alumni as well, who are men and women as well. But let's come maybe to one point of interest to our candidate today. What are the programs that we are offering? So there are master in engineering topics. We call them master shortly, master. Master of engineering to tell that the topic is engineering, but we can say it's also training young researchers to do a PhD. This is completely valid to do for a PhD or to work in companies. So 5 programs we have. The first one is a Master of Science of Management of Technologies, and that is specific for management. You are not engineer, you have a Master of Science, but which is really at the junction, at the frontier of management and technologies, with a specific technology, which is information systems. I will tell about it later on. And then we have a Master of Computer Science, which are one of our big strengths in terms of research and connection with companies, which is with a focus on intelligent systems, which means different points that will be gathered there, and we'll describe it in the slide later on. Finally, we have 3 orientation in terms of electronics, 3 programs, one in wireless communications, micro nanotechnologies, and finally a hot topic, which is Internet of Things, and especially networks and Internet of Things here. So let's tell more than the title. Let's start with this Master of Science and of Management and Technology, Management of Technologies. The goal there is really to produce hybrid managers. That means that you will be in a company able to do some management tasks, and then you will see that you have one block which is management of technology, one block which is management. Then you have one block which is the technology itself, information systems. And it's quite useful for managers and managers of technologies to be aware of the information systems as a tool they can manage, but also as a tool to manage other projects. It's really important. Obviously, when you come to France, the French touch is quite nice to learn about, and French language. So it's about culture and language. So that program, the structure of that one is a short program because actually it's 1 year and a half. So 1 year of lectures, of courses, and then 6 months of internship, which is bringing to the master thesis at the end. But the internship is made in a company. So let's tell about this program. We are quite proud of it because it is in the top 10 of the program of management of technologies in France, and it is working for 10 years now, and with prestigious alumni there. In terms of computer science, the program is about intelligent systems. So what is intelligent systems? Cars are intelligent systems. Homes are becoming more and more intelligent. You have also industrial application, for example, in companies where you need to automate some robots and so on. So you have smart camera that will analyze different environment. Also, you have some systems like digital health, and we could call it EF. So all these systems have the common aspect to connect the real world to some computer science aspect like data analysis to, for example, analyze a lot of sensors, but also artificial intelligence to learn about how to behave for your car, how to behave with the road, or your camera, how to make them. So you will need to know how to work with these different fields and to associate them together. In terms of structure of the course, we are now in the master, which is diplôme d'ingénieur. In that case, it's a 2-year program. So you have 1 year of full courses with some internship provided in it, one, and the second year of courses, 1 semester of courses, plus a 6 months internship. And that internship can be in a company or in a research lab, as you wish, and it will bring to the master thesis at the end. The other 3 programs have a common structure, which is about the International Master of Electronics. So finally, you see that in ESIEE Paris, you have management, computer science, and then the hardware. And that is really a specificity of the school to cover all these points. So this Master of Electronics has 3 electives. We promote on the wireless communications, where you can go, the micro nanotechnologies, and there it's quite important to know that we have one clean room, and which is something quite rare. It is a clean room, and because a clean room which is doing research, teaching, and also production for companies and startups. You have noted at the beginning that we are a graduate school of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Paris, and that connection to companies is really important for the Chamber. So we have startups and large groups which make their production. I'm used to say we have one main, one historical, not one main, because there are others which are larger than that one in terms of contribution sometimes. But Schlumberger was with us from the beginning, and Schlumberger is doing his production in 2 entities worldwide. One in ESIEE Paris, France, and they created Schlumberger MEMS, which is in France, and another one which is in US, in MIT. And I say it in the correct order in terms of their production, because they are doing it first in ESIEE and then also in MIT. The The third track, which is networks and Internet of Things, is in a way related to computer science for intelligent systems, related to electronics. And you will make a mix between all these domains to make those sensors communicating, giving signals wirelessly to a whole network. And there you will have the Internet of Things. So the program structure for that course is the same as the Master of Computer Science, which is a 2-year program. So you are given the Diplôme d'ingénieur and master degree, recognized as a master degree worldwide, but which is a high-level master degree. Let's continue in that description. You can read here some keywords about the different aspect of this Master of Electronics. I will simply add a few words from the time you read that here you will have a lot of RF and micro RF circuits. You will go in the usage of these devices, but also the characterization and their design. Micro nanotechnologies, you will do some clean room and you will design yourself your own sensors, and you will work in both items with our researchers who are also teachers and are well known worldwide. And finally, the theme of Internet of Things, where you see some different topics which will be covered. This is not exhaustive, obviously. And those tracks, even if you join the wireless communications, will help you, will bring you to tackle the different aspects. And one of our orientation of evolving is to make the engineer quite general. So your background needs to be, you will be able at the end to cover different aspects and to have the capability of managing the high level of technology. You can be expert in one field, but you also have this general knowledge, and that is important. Probably this is not something written there, but in line with what I'm telling you. The management aspect is also important. And it's worth to say that in all these programs, which are about engineering topics, they have 20% of management at least. Obviously, the French touch will be taught, and all these, let's say, humanities, which are around the work of an engineer, as we believe it is in France, with a high value of this job. So, Faustine, this is what I can tell about ESIEE Paris and its program.
Yes, I think that was a lot of information. That's why we let you. I will send you after the presentation, so you can have a look more in details about all of this program. But as you can see, it's rich and it includes a lot of things. Jean-Luc, can you then, without going into details of this slide, but give us an idea of what happened after graduation? So what can they do? Do they work in France? Can they work abroad? What can you tell us about the career after graduate from ESIEE Paris?
Yeah, thank you to put this slide because it's indeed giving a good numbers. Actually, I would say the employability of our students is really something important, and we really care about that, and we monitor it very, very carefully. So here you see the latest data about your placement rate after graduation, and you can see one point that 72% found a job even before graduating, and 94% in less than 6 months. Well, you will work in different kind of jobs. Finally, it's also from project leader. You can be expert in one field, technical expert. You can be technical director, and we also have a lot of people involved in startup entrepreneurship. It's not rare that we find CEOs out of our alumni, and quite famous CEO. Let's say I have an example from the field of computer science, which is Yann Lequin. Yann Lequin is today the director of the lab on artificial intelligence from Facebook. So it's a really high level position in Facebook, and we have some other example like that. So let's read a bit some other topics, but I think you will be really happy of the connections that we have with companies from the Chamber of Commerce.
Also, you mentioned it in the programs, but just a reminder for the people here with us today that all of these programs include internship, right?
Right.
And
You include two internships actually, and what is one plus a project which is inside. So finally, it makes the equivalent of two.
yes. And those internships are paid internships. I insist on that because it's not the case in every country, but in France,
Yes. So
you have
just to
to
mention
pay.
that, yeah, absolutely, you're right. The 6 months internship, the final internship, this is mandatory for companies to pay for the students. For the project, it's not paid because it's a project inside ESIEE, obviously. But for the first 3 months internship, it is also paid with our companies if you decide to do it in a company. The 3 months one, it's not mandatory to make it in a company, but the 6 months it is, and companies are really eager to hire you for that.
Yeah, so and that can help you to cover the fees that again as a reminder are of 8,100 euro per year, which is already a great cost for coming to France and studying in France. And this internship will help you to cover these fees as well. So thank
It's
you.
not covering the whole fees,
No,
but
of
it
course,
helps. You're right.
yeah, it helps. So now, guys, I'm just going to focus on the process itself if you want to apply with Join a School in France. Um, so the requirements to apply for ESIEE Paris with us are simple. First, you need to speak English. You have to speak English. So French, even if you come to France to study, speaking French is not mandatory. It's obviously a big advantage for you and it's recommended, but it's not mandatory. Um, we don't ask you to provide an English test when you apply with us, but be aware that the school will ask you that. So if you have it, it's already if you already have it, it's good because the school might ask you to pass the English test to go with the process. But with us, you don't have to have it at the moment you apply. There is no minimum of age, even if the average age will be 25. Tell me if I'm wrong, Jean-Luc, but yes, it's 25 and 30. But if you are over 30, you can still apply. And one of the biggest requirements is to have at least a bachelor degree or an equivalent. Some, like in China, for example, you have the banker. So at least to have a bachelor degree, which is a 3-year study degree that you have obtained outside
4 year.
France.
Just a
Yeah,
question. It's a
yes,
4-year bachelor degree, and I put the focus on the fact that indeed this bachelor degree need to be, but I think it's obvious, in line with the program, and that will be carefully studied.
studied, yeah. Of course, this diploma needs to be also recognized abroad, which means that if you have been in a private institute, you have to give us the proof that the school you've been is accredited by the government, is recognized by the government. Once you have those documents, you can apply online. So you will fill up the form. You will tell us about your background, your professional experience, or your project. Have any? You submit your documents, And also, we recommend you to provide 2 recommendation letters among other documents such as your transcript and your CV. To make it clear, the recommendation letters are letters that you have asked your professor to give you. So basically, it's a motivation letter written by someone else. So it's important that you get it because it will give the school an idea of what kind of student you were, first of all, and also always a plus to have people testifying of who you are and what are your motivations. Um, if you don't have your diploma, a copy of your diploma yet because you are still studying this year, you can provide us with a certificate of attendance, so telling us that you are still studying and that you will be graduating next year. And for the document, that's pretty much it. And to be clear on that point, this application with Join a School in France is free. So that will be the first step. Once you are here, so the process that I just mentioned here, but here in details. Um, Once you have submitted your application, you will be contacted by one of us. So it will be either myself, Agathe, or Metap. It will probably be Metap first because she's the one looking all the application. So she will contact you to test your English because if you didn't provide an English test, we will need to know that at least you understand English because remember those programs are taught in English. So we will have an interview with you just with random questions just to see that you're able to. After that, we will send your application to the school, and we do that every 10th of each month. So we did it 4 days ago, and next deadline will be December 10th. Sorry, until June of next year. Sorry, and after that, you will receive an answer around the end of each month. So for those of you who applied in November, you'll receive an answer on the November 30 or on the coming days after to know if ESIEE Paris wants to go further with it. If that's the case, they will send you an email to start an online application directly with them, and they will ask you for an interview with them directly. After this part, our role is done, so you will be in touch directly with the school and they will take it from us here. So I hope that was clear, and again, I will just put you here our Facebook page and all so our email address and website. So please write us email if you have any question because sometimes I know that some of you are a bit lost in the process, and so that's why we organize this kind of thing today because you have to understand that we are here for you. We are here to help you to complete your application. So please don't hesitate to write us email, and even if you want a one-to-one chat, if you want us to call you directly, we can do that as well. And so finally, to conclude on this presentation, we wanted to tell you what would be the benefits to join a master in France and study in France. So first of all, if I talk about joining a school in France, it's online. Everything is online, and you do only one application. So either you apply for join a school in France or for the other school, one application for all of the schools. So it's easier for you. It costs less than if you apply for each school separately. And also, as I told you, we are a small team here of 3 persons plus Nancy, our intern. I think some of you have had some calls from her. And our mission is really to make sure that your application is at its best to give you the chance to get accepted by a school. So that's what I would recommend you to apply with us. And for other benefit to study in France, of course, you will have access to the French culture and the French environment, which is a big plus. As we told you, ESIEE Paris is a very good school, engineering school in France, and focus on today's today's issues, if I could say, such as the place of women in the industry. So Jean-Luc mentioned that earlier, and also dedicate a lot of topics about smart cities and AI. So as a lot of you knows, those topics are the biggest issues we have in our world today. So that's what I will call the benefits of coming to ESIEE. Do you want to add something that you think that is essential, Jean-Luc, about the benefit of coming to
Yes,
France?
thank you for pointing out the aspect of smart city again. Indeed, that very hot topic here, especially with Paris, which is involved in sustainable development, and this is a political aspect which is quite important. And here on the campus, where we are working together with the different university and fields, we are on our campus actually the School of Electronics and Informatics that works for the smart city. And we are, let's say, in terms of international, we are an international league with different universities worldwide to work on that. And we can mention, for example, NTU and Nanyang Technological University in Singapore. We can mention Amsterdam universities. We can mention South Africa, where we also have a campus there. We can also mention some other university in Europe, and then we make an international league, Europe, outside of Europe, to work on that thematic, which is quite hot.
So thank you, Jean-Luc. Now I see that we have several questions in the chat. So Jean-Luc, if you agree, I will read them and you can answer them because I think they are about the programs.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So
definitely.
first, yes, so we have Manisha asking, can I pursue Master of Computer Science, Master of Technologies, considering that I have a bachelor's in Electronics and Communication Engineering? I also have a 2 years
Okay.
of experience in application development.
All right. Yeah. That I think it's fine. You have the keywords, electronics, communication engineering. So if you want to reach the Master of Computer Science, we need to prove that you have skills in programming, for example, in which also mathematical tools that are needed. But I guess you have it with this bachelor. Our colleagues will have a look to that actually. So it's important to have the bachelor in that field. So it's perfectly fine. And then they will have a look to the list of your courses that you selected to see whether or not you fulfill all the prerequisites for the specific program. So I heard that you mentioned computer science and the one of technologies. Of technologies, actually, it's management of technologies, probably. You mentioned
Yeah.
Master of Technologies. Okay. So actually, with this bachelor, anyway, you fill in the scope of all of them because you can work on information systems, provided you have the prerequisite, obviously in these specific courses. Computer science, if you are a developer, you have 2 years in application development. I think it is fine. And electronics, it's in your title of bachelor. So yeah, you're a good profile.
Okay. The next question is from Ali. I accomplished bachelor degree in electronics and have almost 6 years experience in renewable energy and automation control systems. Can I choose network and IoT specialization in Master of Electronics?
Okay, so I hear automation control system, which is indeed a central point for many things. So yes, the orientation networks and IoT could be weird. I didn't hear the word networks in your previous bachelor, but let's say it's something that you will probably discover in some of the fields, and you have some choices. So in this master, let's say you will probably focus in IoT if you feel a bit not easy in networks. But I also hear energy. We didn't put the focus here on energy, but we are enlarging also our scope of courses. And we have courses in the field of energy which are taught in English, which are not making a full master, but that you will be able to pick up for some modules. So I think that could be interesting. You would be interested in it. I guess yes. This orientation will be fine.
Then Ali has another question, but we already answered it. So these internship will be paid or not? So yes, they will be paid. And
And
as
we can
we
add
said,
probably to that the minimum amount of wages, which is from the French regulation above, pardon me if it's not at the euro precise, but it will be above 530 euro per month for the 6 months internship. But obviously this is a minimum. So if you work in large groups, you may be paid more. I'm not giving numbers because it's really depending on companies.
yes, but we know that some intern they make almost or even more than the minimum salary in France. So it really depends of the company you in.
Definitely.
Next question from Manisha. What is the average placement statistic for Master of Technology and Master of Computer Science?
Right. So, Master of Electronics and Master of Computer Science, you got these statistics in the slide. I just remind it. It's 94% of people. Yes, thank you. This is the right slide. So 94% who find a job in less than 6 months after graduation. But more found even before, not more actually, 72 found before. In terms of management of technologies, this rate is quite high as well, and it even sometimes higher. The salary is higher as well in terms of average salary. Pardon me, I don't have it with me the right value, but I guess it is above 50,000 euro for management of technologies. It's a shame. Engineers should be paid more. But just to compare, 40,000 euros for engineers is quite high value in France, and actually it's in the I would say top five in France among graduate schools in terms of wages.
Is there any scholarship or financial assistance available by ESIEE Paris?
For that, actually, I would say it really depends. We have some, but very few, to be honest. And that is really in direction to excellent students. We have one, for example, which is the FL scholarship funded by the government. And we have also some scholarship directly provided by ESIEE, which often combine with the FL scholarship. It's really to attract talents. Ali Raza mentioned one thing that he was working, I guess. Yeah, he has a 6 year experience. On that aspect, unfortunately, this is preventing most of the case of getting a scholarship from EFL or ESIEE Paris, which are mainly for those who just graduated recently from their bachelor. But you need to look at Campus France, for example. They may have some few scholarship to help you. Maybe Faustine, you can give some tips on that.
About the scholarship, so first of all, the first thing you have to do is to go to your campus course. So as a reminder, Campus France is the place, it's like the embassy for the students. So if you want to come to France to study, you will have to go to Campus France. So they will help you with the visa procedure, and they will also give you any information you need about any school you are looking for, any field you want to study, or any financial aid you might be able to have, because this depends of the country you are in, the field you want to study, uh, your uh, your uh, your level, I would say. So it depends about a lot of things. And so one thing we always say to our candidates is that before asking for scholarship of any kind, you need to make sure that your application is complete and that you will be selected by a school. It's like when you have an interview for a job, when you are doing the interview and you don't know if you will be hired or not, you don't ask a raise to your future employer because you don't even know if he will hire you or not. So that's the same for a scholarship. The step is always to, of course, to get all the information you can have, but you will not be able to apply for any scholarship before you get accepted by at least one school. So make sure you do things in order, and then that will be easier for you to clearly on that. So next question, I think yes, we have one more question from Manisha. I would also like to know about the placement division of your college. How helpful it will be while finding job and internship, or will we have to do it all alone?
Okay, it's a good question. Uh, Actually, we have so what Manisha call a placement division, which is a service, a career service in ESIEE Paris, which is helping a lot to put in contact companies and students. Company like it because they want to catch talent. Students obviously like it because it's easing the process. But you always have to bear in mind that we are teaching you how to find an internship. So we are giving it tools, we are giving occasions to meet companies, but also we are training you on how to write your CV, cover letter, but it's also a job to find a job. So you have to know, to learn how could you get some contacts with companies. So we help you, but we accompany you to do the work.
Okay, so I think we don't have any other question. So thank you very much for those of you who attended today. That was really nice to learn about the program and exchange to see your question and your concerns. Again, I am here to answer all your questions, and if you need, you can email me at Join Us for in France. So the address you see on the slide. Thank you, Jean-Luc.
Thank you,
And
Faustine.
we hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. Bye bye.
Bye bye.